Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to a review of The Real Housewives of New York, Season 13, Episode 4, putting a Tiff in the Tiffany. We begin where we left off with a very drunk and very sad Sonja. Sonja's mean. She's attacked Ramona. She's attacked Luann. And her mean drunk has a negative effect on Luann, who has her own negative relationship with alcohol. It's clear Sonja's hurting. But there's really nothing you can do until that person comes to it. You know, we have friends who are hurting, friends who could need a hand, but there's nothing we can do until they're ready. I mean, that's just the end. That's just the way life is. So you move on, and we see separate phone calls of Leah and Ebony. Both their grandmothers are dying in 2020 with COVID-19. And there are two separate phone calls we get to witness. Leah's sister called her and learns that her mom has arranged a meeting with her grandmother and the other siblings, but it's excluded Leah. Leah's feeling a certain kind of way, as we all probably would feel, but she's not letting on. Ebony mom's Gloria is concerned about her mother's quality of life in her last days. And she has decided that when the time comes, she's going to leave it up to the granddaughter, Ebony, to pull the plug. Ebony's not really surprised by this. So we move on to a discussion with Luann and Ramona. You know, they're talking about Sonja. Again, they had a rough night. Leah enters the room and Ramona says, you know, can you hold off for a minute? You know, we're having a private conversation, which this kind of ruffles Leah because right now, after her phone call, she kind of needs a hug from an older lady. And, or I say it, Ramona and Luann is old enough to be Leah's mom. The discussion's over. And the next we see Ramona having a nice discussion with Ebony. Well, this sends Leah into another world. She is pissed. You know, because you're happy-go-lucky with Ebony, but when I came there, you told me to leave. And she storms out of the room calling Ramona a bitch. The lady is planning a trip to Oyster Farm where they're going to learn to shuck oysters. So before they got on a bus to go to this oyster farm, Leah realizes, listen, I'm in an effed up mood, you know, and it's better for me like to take a vow of silence, she tells Ebony. And she gets on the bus and she's saying nothing. She doesn't know sign language. She doesn't play charades, but Ebony sort of gets what's going on. So on the route to the bus, Sonja is a little sober, but she's still in her feelings. And she and Luann get into a big one about the men in her lives. Sonja's salty because she's jealous of Garth. You know, this tall man, blonde hair. And she goes after Luann and talking about how Luann has stole her man, Harry Dubin. And if you don't know nothing about these women, New York's a big city. But it seems that Ramona, Sonja, and Luann have had relations with them. This is for you don't know New York. They've had relations with them. Sonja, Ramona, and Luann has dated Tom. And so Sonja's going on about, you know, how Luann has stolen all her man. And Luann ain't here for it. Listen, I ain't going to let you do this shit to me another day. Listen, I had real relations with them. You, on the other hand, was basically, listen, you basically was a hookup. All right? You basically fucked these men, but I had a relation to it. Well, Ramona stayed out of this. You know, this is an old tape that they're rehashing. And Luann goes further, and, bitch, I married Tom. You may have been a hookup, but he was my husband. They're off. Ebony, the new girl, decides to get in it because sometimes when you're in a heat, the issue is not the issue, it's something else. And Ebony was able to see that. Ebony was like, "Listen, Luann ain't hearing Ebony like, bitch, you've been here a minute. You need to sit here and be cute. You need to sit here and be cute. This ain't about you. You don't know nothing about this." But Ebony was able to get in there and say, "Listen, this is about something else." And Sonja came around. Sonja, yes, listen, I'm jealous of Garth. You and I used to hang out before Garth. And the two make up. One of the things I like about the Real Housewives. Well, this throws Ebony to a loop with Ebony going, well, shit, these girls go in deep. But, it's over. I ain't never seen this because, me and my crew, no, we don't recover this quickly. And again, I'll say it again, unlike some of the other reality shows, I like this. It goes on some other reality shows. This could have been 4, 5, 6 episodes. Real Housewives of New York, Love and Hip Hop, Potomac, Orange County. So, speaking of makeup, this is a little sidebar. These women are getting made up in Ramona's house, and they have makeup artists. Are these makeup artists on call? Are they living in the guest house? I've never seen this in the history of the show, and I've been around 13 seasons. So, that was just a little question. All right, I'm going to move back on. So they go to the oyster bar, and they, and know how to shuck oysters, whole 9 yards. Ramona's not feeling that much. She discovers that the oysters cost the restaurants $1, but they charge anywhere from $6 to $8 a piece. But Ramona said, look, I see how that's done. Sometimes you don't need to know, you don't need to see how the meat was made. You know what I'm saying? So, I just rather go to the store and pick up my meat in a little cellophane underneath the plastic, and I'm good. I don't need to see how it was made. So, Leah's now talking. She kind of admitted, listen, I'm in a bad way right now, and has nothing to do. I apologize to all you women. So they go home. The dark clouds are coming. Heather's coming. Leah is concerned about Heather's visit. Now, Heather and Leah are not friends. They've seen each other in passing, but Heather's concerned. Leah's concerned about Heather because Heather's been talking trash about Luann and Sonja and possibly Ramona. And she's laying in wait going, well, listen, if you say that about your friends who you've known for years, what you gonna say about me and Ebony? She got raw fish in her mouth. And she got the other women, she's got all the women hyped up now because they're like, well, yeah. You said I was a drug addict. You said I was a drunk. You said I was, yeah. Come on, Heather. Come on, Heather. Come for dinner. So Heather comes on. It's icy. It's cold. Heather comes to dinner. Heather comes in. The theme is Tiffany's, like Breakfast with Tiffany, all dressing up like Audrey Hepburn in black and pearls, and her hair is up. And Heather asks Sonja for help, to get her hair. And Sonja's like, bitch, you can want that. You can want a whole lot of things. You can want me to help you take your stuff downstairs to your room in the dark where you need to be. Sonja's not feeling it. You can tell. And neither of the ladies. The other ladies are laying in wait. So Heather gets dressed up. Everybody's in their black, looking like Audrey Hepburn, except for Leah. Leah's her own person. She was either wearing a stripe or some animal print, but she wasn't going that way, and she wasn't wearing pearls, damn it, because I'm Leah McSweeney. So they're at dinner. As dinner's being served, Leah's got the receipt. She's got her phone out, looking at all the things she said on her podcast and media release. And they're sitting there, everybody's waiting. Only one who doesn't know what's about to go down is Heather, but Heather's not stupid. So they go in. So Leah starts off saying, well, you said that Luann was a drug user. And Heather said, I didn't say that. She said, well, it's right here. I got the receipts. I didn't say that. So Heather went, listen. The news people make the headlines. I did say, Heather, that Luann used drugs, like we had some weed, but I didn't say she was heavy drug. If you'd have read the story, you'd saw this. So Leah gives her that, and then there are other things, and Heather defends herself. Meanwhile, Ebony is an attorney. Ebony said, you know what, if I was Heather, I'd be quiet. I'd advise her to be quiet, because this is not getting any better. They're all out to get him. So Heather holds her ground. One thing I like about Heather, who's a former cast, she ain't no punk. And she can say motherfucker like the best of them. If I was expecting to get a motherfucker, but I didn't get one. Disappointment. Heather, the big girl, she used to work with Puffy. She's been with sisters. She's almost an 8. I'm going to give her a 7 when it comes to motherfuckers, but she can lay it down. There's no motherfucker from her. Motherfucker. But I didn't get one, so I was a little disappointed that I didn't get a motherfucker from Heather. Yeah, what can I say? So, anywho, Heather speaks her piece. She admits at one point that she told the people that Luann's not genuine. Basically, she's phony. And she stuck to her story. Yeah, I said it. Luann is not genuine. So Luann, came back, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? She said, well, hey, I said it. There it is. So the story drifted on. Heather stood her ground, and the story sort of shifted into male body parts, talking about penises and balls. One of the women said if the ball's bigger than the penis, or the dick is smaller than the balls, this is not a good thing. Well, Ramona is not happy about the sex talk, even though she loves sex. Leah took it a little further. She said, if a man didn't, and let me read this correctly so y'all can understand what Leah said. If a man don't eat your ass, he's not a real man. You want me to say that again? If a man don't eat your ass, then he's not a real man. She said it. I read it, I wrote it down in red ink pen. She said it. And they got to talking about penises, length, dick. Ramona was playing I'm a good Catholic girl, I would never do this. She's still sticking to her story. She didn't bring it up, but in the past she said she would never go down on a man. But she's also said she likes a good sized man member, but not on this outing. So this is where we end. Now, it looks like we're going to stay in the Hamptons more night. I kind of wish they'd move on. I was disappointed with Heather's Heather's a sister in waiting. I said last week, I'm not sure she'd be at the barbecue, but she'd get a plate. And I was expecting more, so I was disappointed. Meanwhile, this was Real Housewives of New York City. If you haven't seen it, see it. Don't assume because it's not a black cast, even though they got a sister this year, Miss Ebony. It's not a good show. Give it a few episodes. I think it's one of the best reality shows of the housewives, of all the housewives. Meanwhile, this is Rodfather wishing you love, joy, and happiness. And I'm very sincere when I mean that, because life is short. It ends in a minute. So if you're stuck in a place of stupid, you didn't get the car you wanted, you didn't get, you didn't get the clothes you wanted, you stuck on something trivial, realize that you're still here. And I'm glad you are, and I'm glad you're watching me. Subscribe if you haven't. If you like what you hear, share it with your friends. If you don't like it, tell me about it. Get in my face about it. I'm okay with that. Meanwhile, please be well. The Rodfather 916, spreading on social media slowly. Wishing you well. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.